Today, we're talking about bending conduit in facilities maintenance. From time to time, you may have to bend some conduit if you're running a new circuit or doing some remodeling work, etc. So some terminology when it comes to bending conduit. This is a graphic of what a conduit bender looks like. They come in different sizes depending on what type of conduit you need to bend. So 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, etc. And then they have angle markings on the head of the conduit bender. And so the stub length you can see in this graphic is 8 inches. And then you can see the take-up length goes from the bottom of the conduit to the arrow on the conduit bender there. There's different types of bends: U-bends, 3-bend saddles, 4-bend saddles, offsets, stubs. So the type of bend you need will depend on what sort of obstacle you're trying to go up and over or around. Here's a chart that shows your offset multipliers. So this is page 144 out of the Uglies Electrical Handbook to make 90-degree bends in EMT conduit using a hand bender. And you can buy a hand bender again at Lowe's, Home Depot, Electrical Supply House, etc. The stub is the most common bend. Step 1, determine the height of the stub up required and mark on the EMT with like a black Sharpie. Step 2, find the deduct or take-up amount from the take-up chart. Subtract the take-up amount from the stub height and mark the EMT that distance from the end with a black Sharpie. Step 3, align the arrow on the bender with the last mark made on the EMT and bend to the 90-degree mark on the bender. So for example, you can see for 1/2 inch EMT, your take-up would be 5 inches. If you don't have a conduit bender or don't want to spend the money on a conduit bender, or if it's just a one-time job and you feel like it's not worth the investment and the time to learn how to use a conduit bender, another simple solution for running EMT is you can buy individual fittings like this. You can buy long radius 90s, you can buy 45s, you can buy 90-degree pull boxes, offsets. Offsets work great, like if you're going into, let's say, a wall switch. The female couplers, and then the screw type adapters that you'd screw into a J-box. These also come, you can buy these in compression fitting, push fitting types. These ones just happen to be the set screw type. So that's another option if you don't want to have to bend conduit. Depending on what you're doing, you might be able to run BX cable, which is that flexible metallic cable. Depending on what your project is, that's another option for you. Armored cable is what they call it. Anyways, I hope this information helps. Please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment for future video topics you would like me to cover.